All right, I got it. I've got a beautiful leftover pureed sweet potato soup. So I'm just gonna reheat that and serve it, as well as some wild rice and some roasted veggies. So I'm going to probably get some onions, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, let's see, carrots. Probably do about half an onion, so let me grab this other one. Maybe some peppers, a couple of carrots. Sorry, I don't have a cameraman to follow me around. You have to like have me out of the screen every couple of moments. Ooh, cabbage. I love roasted cabbage. It's probably my favorite vegetable to roast. And cauliflower. Cauliflower and cabbage are probably my top two favorites. And the kids love it. Let's see. Brussels sprouts would be good. And that's probably good enough. So I got a carrot, which once you cut it up makes a bunch of pieces. A little bit of onion. Probably, I don't know about the pepper. We had peppers last night. Let's just stick with onion, carrot, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and a little cauliflower. No, let's do broccoli. We had cauliflower last night. So, as you can tell, I just see what I have in the fridge and do it. I get a lot of frozen vegetables because it's cheaper to shop that way. On occasion, if the fresh one is in season, it might be cheaper than the frozen, so I may do that. But for the most part, I get like frozen broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, peas, corn, green beans, lima beans, and then I'll get fresh carrots because they're always organic and really affordable, and then fresh onions, fresh garlic, fresh cabbage, fresh squashes, depending on what's in season, and some things I'm able to buy at the farmer's market, like sweet potatoes and potatoes, and some things I can grow myself. And then of course there's like avocado and stuff like that that I don't get frozen. But I do get a lot of frozen because I can't afford everything organic. And it's, you know, everybody says different things. But what I've heard about frozen is that they're picked at peak season and then frozen, so they're fresher than the fresh stuff at the grocery store. Either way, it's more affordable, and I still can see the benefit of our diet in our lives. We get sick far less than any of our friends. I mean, I can't remember the last time I had a cold, and we skipped the flu and the stomach bug last year completely, the whole family, and I had several friends who had it more than once go through the house, and we don't take any precautions. I'm not one of those, you know, antibacterial gel moms and washing your hands. That's probably all I do is when we get home, we always wash our hands wherever we're at. Like if we go to the grocery store, the library, we always wash our hands right when we get home. But that's pretty much the only precaution I take. When, you know, when it's winter and I can't hang out with any of my friends because all their kids are sick, I still go to the library. I still go to play groups and stuff like that. And I see snotty-nosed kids there, but, you know, can't stay in the house all day, every day. It's too depressing. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is preheat the oven to 400. And I love roasted veggies because they're pop them in the oven and just leave them alone for 40 minutes. They taste delicious. The kids love them. My husband loves them. And they're so healthy. They're just the best way to go, in my opinion. And I was watching my other video, the first one I did about cooking, and I could see how every time I use something, I put it right back where I got it from. I guess that's how I keep everything tidy when I'm cooking. People ask me, and I'm like, I don't know, because it's just the way I operate. But that's a good tip. When you use something, don't just leave it on the counter when you're done. Put it back, because if you keep just leaving things where you, when you're done using them, at the end of everything, everything's everywhere, and then you have to clean it all up. But if you put away as you go and wipe down as you go, then at the end, everything's done, except maybe like one or two things, and you're done that much faster. So first I'm going to chop this onion. Hopefully, since I'm not going to cut that much, I won't cry. I sob when I cut onions. It's ridiculous. It's like flowing tears. So let me try to get it out of the way first. And if I do start to tear up, I'll just shut the camera off until I'm normal again. And I've heard a few tricks. None of them have worked for me. I've tried lighting a candle right by, here's a little station. I've tried putting them in the freezer, I heard someone say. It feels like nothing works for me. So I'm just going to toss these onions on a lined baking sheet. And I line everything with foil because then at the end you just throw the foil away. You don't have to clean it up. And I peel everything right over the garbage can, so excuse me while I peel this carrot. We planted our garden yesterday. We had tomatoes growing all summer, and they just kept going and going and going through the fall, so I didn't pull them out. And I finally pulled them out yesterday and went to the store to get some lettuces to plant, starter plants, and they were sold out. I missed the window when everybody did that because my tomatoes just wouldn't stop growing, so I didn't want to pull them out yet. But I had some seeds left over from last year, and I planted those. So it's going to turn out to be an experimental year with some seeds. I planted some mustard greens, some kale, some iceberg lettuce, and romaine and butter crunch. And I'm very excited to see how things go from a seed. Ugh. There we go. And for cabbage, I don't like to chop it like into a bunch of little strings. I like to keep them kind of like wedged together because they get so buttery and wonderful with the oil and the roasting. And we eat a lot of that, so I'm going to keep it pretty, probably do the whole head here. The thing about gardening that's so great, obviously it's, you have your own food in your own yard, you know. It's really fun for the kids. But I really think that even if you don't have, you know, we have 3 raised beds, that's it. So it's not like we have this huge garden or anything. And there's not much tending that it requires because it's so small. So that's nice. But I highly recommend that everyone do some sort of gardening, even if it's just a potted tomato plant. It's such an awesome way to share the gospel with your children. Mine are really young, but we still talk about it. They don't understand symbolism very well yet, but still, you know, I'm already telling them things like the soil, the fertile soil is like your heart, and the seed is the gospel, and we're going to plant it, and we're going to water it, and the water is symbolizing getting in the Word, fellowship, going to church, listening, learning about the Bible, and it grows with the water and with the sun. And then as it grows, you just remind them, look, this is how our faith grows. When we water it, when we feed it with the right food, it grows and grows and grows, and then it produces fruit. And you can see the evidence of Christ in your life by these fruit. And the fruit are in Galatians 5:22. And you just, I don't know, it's just a really neat way to show them the gospel and what the symbolism means when it talks about fruit, and when it talks about the parable, the sower seed, and all of that Jesus talks about. So I think that's a wonderful lesson, even, you know, on a small scale, like a little pot in your house, you know. And we do it every season, so it's not like it's just once a year, like it's gonna stick. So that was really fun yesterday, especially since we didn't use starter plants. We actually got to show the seeds to them and say, look at the seed, you know. It was really sweet. And I know this looks like a lot, but when you don't eat meat, you gotta have a lot of veggies to fill your belly. So we always have a lot of vegetables and a lot of grain and a lot of beans too. Tonight I'm not making beans because I didn't soak any. Brussels sprouts are funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We love them, but we don't like 10 each or anything. We'll have like 2 or 3 each. So I usually count them and then put them back in the freezer. Now I'm done chopping, so I'm going to go ahead and rinse off my knife and cutting board. And then this, I'm just going to coat it with lots of olive oil, salt, pepper, and that's all it needs. You could do other stuff, but honestly, I think the flavors of the vegetables themselves are so delicious. We barely do anything to them. The olive oil helps them get all buttery and they caramelize so nicely, and it's wonderful. And then the salt just enhances their flavor. And the pepper's just yummy, a little spice to it. That's all you need, but you can do other stuff if you like. On this, I guess garlic powder would be good, or you can mince some garlic and toss it in there. I've done that several times. I'm just so sick of mincing garlic right now. We have a food business and I have to cook several times a week, and the dishes that I make have whole heads of garlic in them. So I mince garlic like every day. So when I cook dinner, I'm like, forget you, garlic. I don't want to mince another head of garlic ever again. I use the food processor, but still, that's just one more thing to wash and whatever. I'd rather just do this. No garlic today. And then just toss it all around till everything's coated nicely with the salt and pepper and oil. And I know some of these veggies are frozen and some are fresh, but they still cook very evenly. Like the fresh ones don't burn while the frozen ones just stay there. They really do just all roast evenly. It's great. And the Brussels sprouts, I don't know, I guess next to the carrots, they get a sweetness to them instead of a bitter flavor. I've made this for some friends and some fellowships that we've had, and they're like, how do you make your Brussels sprouts taste so sweet? I'm like, I guess it's just the medley of everything else next to them, because I don't do anything special. I just roast those suckers. And now the oven is still preheating, but I still put it in there. I don't wait. I will be making a bread video soon. I know that I have one already with my basic bread recipe, so I may do one about focaccia bread or pita bread or tortillas or something. And someone asked me to do breakfast and stuff like that. I'm not sure how practical that is. Dinner is the easiest because dinner is usually when the boys are reading or snacking, watching a show or something, and I'm able to do this without little heads running everywhere. But we'll see. You never know. I may have the opportunity. Now, I've never made this rice. Something tells me it's going to take like 40 minutes to cook because it has some brown rice in there. So let's see. Yep, 45 minutes. So I need a heavy saucepan. And I'll probably make about 2 cups. And I have never had this brand. It looks like it's going to be a lot heartier than the other wild rice I've gotten. It seems to be like the short grain brown rice and long grain brown rice. Let's see. Here's the ingredients list so we can see. Long grain brown rice, sweet brown rice, never had that. Wild rice, whole grain wehani rice, and whole grain black haponika rice. All right, exciting. So this will be a new experience for me too. 2 cups of that, and then it'll be 3 cups of water. When you cook brown rice, it takes a cup more versus white rice and quinoa. So 3 cups of water, and I have followed the charts on these before, and sometimes I think they're, I don't know, it's just not, oh, it says use same. I'm not going to do that. So 3 cups of water, and then just some salt. Oh, I forgot to do my salt trick. Don't tell my husband. Let me do it this way and taste it. If you saw my other video, you know that my husband loves rice and he wants the salt to be perfect in there. And I hope it doesn't make him sound all like, why don't you do it this way? He's not like that at all. He's the most laid-back person on the planet. I've never met anyone more easygoing and just laid back than he is. I can fix him anything for dinner and he will eat it and then later be like, never make that again. And then I won't. And then the stuff he likes, he lets me know, I really like this, add it to the list, you know. But he will eat anything I make him, and he's just wonderful. His happiness is when I'm happy. So when I say he likes this or he likes that, I'm just trying to fulfill that desire of his. I want him to be happy with what I'm making, you know. Ugh, it's too salty. Great, I'm messing up. Let's see. I'm just going to strain the whole thing and start over, not have over salted rice, because that's yucky. So we'll just start again. 3 cups of water. And this is my rice trick, my water trick. I'll put water, salt into the water, and then stir it around and taste the water. And if it's too salty, then you can pour some out, add some more. If it's just right, you're good to go. Much better. It's hard to see how much you're pouring in when there's rice at the bottom of the pot. So now, once this is in here, the oven is going to be about 45 minutes, and so is this. So everything will be ready right around the same time. You want to bring that to a boil. The salt away, the rice away. My messy drawer. Everybody has one. I think it's an essential. You have to have a junk drawer, because then where do all the random miscellaneous things go? And I always cover my pot with foil first and then a lid. Once it's at a boil, with white rice, and every stove's different. Electric stoves are all, you're going to just have to learn as you go. With white rice and my stove, which is electric, I put it at 2. After it's it's brought to a boil, I'll lower it to 2 to simmer for 15 minutes. But with brown rice, I bring it to a boil, then I lower it to 3 to simmer for 40 to 45 minutes. And so it's a little higher heat because it's a harder grain, and I think the higher heat gets it softer faster. It like forces it to go and to not get like mushy, because if it's on low heat with all that water, it just keeps softening, and then it becomes mushy and not fluffy. And this is the first time I make this one, and I didn't follow the instructions about the water, so we'll see if I made the right decision. Let's see where this is. So I'm just put the lid on the foil, and that's nice and sealed. And I usually stick around until it's boiling, so that it doesn't boil too much, so that I'm able to lower it to the simmering setting, and then you can walk away. And since both of these are going to take about 40 minutes, I'm going to set my timer to 40, and that way I can come look at the veggies in a little bit. Once I lower this heat to simmer after it's brought to a boil, I usually can go hang out with the kids, go outside and play for a little while, just pop in every few minutes to check on the food, and the kitchen is good. I don't need to do anything. this is the nice part about being vegan. For the most part, I've shared on my videos that we're not strictly vegan. We do have meat sometimes. I even cooked some chicken on the first video, and we do have dairy most of the time out, but sometimes I'll buy something and make dairy at home. And so the nice part is there's no like meat to wash and season. There's no like third thing. You know, I usually roast like potatoes and veggies or beans and veggies together, and then have a grain or some bread or some soup, and it's pretty nice. So that's all I'm gonna do for now. So I'll let you guys see what everything looks like when it's over.